Well, up next, we've got freezing temperatures ahead. Rich has your forecast coming up. Plus, new details revealed of the deaths of a former Williamson County judge and his wife. The document that lays out why deputies say their son said he did it.
And the major announcement from Alaska Airlines that could impact your travel plans this week. But first, we start tonight with breaking news. We now know the identity of the suspect arrested in the machete attack that happened yesterday near the Lady Bird Lake Trail. Now, the suspect has been identified by APD as 24-year-old Ashton Talley. Talley is charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, as well as 1 count for evading arrest. Now, APD says the victim in the machete attack is currently in stable condition.
Well, with freezing temperatures heading into central Texas next week, concerns grow for those living on the streets. And for some places like Hays County, more people are finding themselves without shelter.
And the number has been growing since 2020. KXAN Sam Stark spoke with Hays County officials about this month's upcoming point-in-time count.
A complex problem without a simple solution, and one that is on the rise according to this latest count. To find the most effective solution, a community needs data.
Point-in-time count is really meant to capture a snapshot of what homelessness looks like on an assigned given night on that point in time.
This will be the 5th count conducted in Hays County. In 2020, volunteers counted 102 unhoused people. In 2023, there were 180.
We have found more people every year. I think it's the reason it's growing everywhere, just because of the uncertainty of people who are doing livable wages for where they can live, and maybe other issues too, maybe more mental health challenges, more physical challenges.
Volunteers don't just count people experiencing homelessness in the area. They also have folks take a mobile survey so county officials can better understand what they need to get into stable housing.
Homelessness is a very complex issue, and it requires very complex systems and coordination together to address these issues. At least getting those data points is a way to start and advocate for our community to be able to create a more fluid workflow and also secure more resources to address this issue.
In Hays County, Sam Stark, KXAN News.
If you are in Hays County and would like to participate in the point-in-time count, the Homelessness Coalition of Hays County is still looking for some volunteers, so you can find that information by visiting this story at KXAN.com. And going in depth right now, a new federal report shows homelessness increased in Texas by 13% within the last year, with nearly 30,000 people living on the streets. Now, this data comes from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which estimated the number based on a single night last January. Veterans have been hit really hard by homelessness. Texas saw a 19% increase in veterans living on the streets from 2022 to 2023. Advocates hope a focus on resources like housing vouchers and permanent supportive housing can help.
All right, let's check in with meteorologist Rich Siegel in for David as we brace for these freezing temperatures headed our way.
Yeah, you know, we had a really nice day today, and we'll have another one tomorrow. Then we get a little cooling, and then we get a little warmth, and then we get a lot of cooling. As we talked about earlier, we've got a very strong Arctic air mass about to hit us as we get into the early part of next week. But for now, let's enjoy some 60s. This is the view from the Ewald Kubota weather camera in beautiful Georgetown, Texas. Temperatures right now are in the 60s area wide as we continue to see a sunny sky across the area, and that sun will continue for about another half hour or so, and then we'll go down. This the view again from Georgetown. It is 66 degrees there, 64 at Camp Mabry. Most of our temperatures are in the mid and upper 60s now, except at Fredericksburg where it's 62 and Llano where it is 70. The reason for the warm-up was the southwest wind that we had today, and we still have that southwest wind. It'll continue even for part of tomorrow, too. We're getting wind speeds at around 5 to 15 miles an hour with some gusts into the low 20s. We're going to be talking about the next time we will see some rain. We have an update on today's pollen count for you, and all of this talk about the brutal cold still coming in our next weather segment in First Warning Weather. Daniel?
All right, Rich, thank you very much. We have new details today in the shooting deaths of former Williamson County District Judge Alfred Carnes and his wife, Susan.
And their son, 45-year-old Seth Carnes, admitted to shooting them both with a shotgun Monday night at the family's home north of Georgetown. This is all according to a felony complaint affidavit. Now, the document states that during an interview with a detective, Carnes said he thought his mother was trying to put a sleeping pill in his mouth and he didn't want to take it, which was the only reason he shot her. He said he shot his father because, quote, I've just been looking for something and figured I would finish the job. Carnes is charged with capital murder.
Well, House Armed Services Committee Chairman Mike Rogers announced a formal inquiry into Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's failure to disclose his hospitalization. The Defense Department took 3 days to inform the White House and key Pentagon officials about Austin's hospitalization for complications following a procedure to treat prostate cancer. Rogers said he wants the Pentagon to provide details about any sedation or general anesthesia the defense secretary received, as well as any instructions not to inform people about his hospitalization and any official acts Austin performed during that period. As of yesterday, the secretary remained in the hospital.
The last batch of documents involving accused sex offender Jeffrey Epstein have been released. The last of the 4,500 pages were made public yesterday, and more than 150 people were named or mentioned in those documents related to the investigation. So the names are largely known from previous public documents and interviews, and many only have a passing connection to the scandal. The documents were ordered unsealed by a federal judge as part of a settled lawsuit.
Alaska Airlines announced today that it is canceling all flights on Boeing 737 MAX 9 jets through Saturday while inspections on the aircrafts continue. More than 100 jets were temporarily grounded over the weekend after a wall panel blew off of one of Alaska Airlines' plane during a flight. Now, according to the airline, the cancellations announced today will impact up to 150 flights per day. In a statement, Alaska Airlines said, quote, the safety of our employees and guests is our highest priority, and we will only return these aircraft to service when all findings have been fully resolved and meet all FAA and Alaska's stringent standards. The life-saving partnership in Williamson County giving paramedics the tools they need to stabilize trauma patients out in the field when every second counts.
And a giant in the world of college football set to leave the sidelines with the announcement of Alabama head coach Nick Saban's retirement means for the Longhorns.
And a fire erupts inside a New York City shop. Look at that, charring the store with a wall of flames. What was behind this sudden explosion?
An electric bike shop in New York City was consumed by, quote, a wall of flames after a lithium-ion battery exploded. Take a look at this video. It's pretty intense here, released by the New York Fire Department. It shows smoke forming around the battery before the device eventually explodes and then sets the store on fire. The fire department said they received a first call about a minute after all of this happened, after an upstairs tenant heard 3 loud pops and then smelled the smoke. The store was closed at the time of the fire and no members of the public were hurt, but local media reported 1 firefighter was hurt and at least 24 e-bikes were damaged.
Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship, pulled into its new home port in Miami this morning at nearly 1,200 feet long and weighing in at nearly 260,000 tons. The 20-deck ship is the first in Royal Caribbean's new Icon class. The ship, which took 900 days to build, is scheduled to set sail from Miami on January 27th. The ship can hold 7,600 passengers and features 7 swimming pools, 6 water slides, about 40 bars and dining options, as well as a ropes course, a thrill ride, a wave simulator, and a mini golf course. 2 more ships will join Royal's Icon in the coming years, starting with the Star of the Seas in 2025 and then another in 2026.
Temperatures made the upper half of the 60s at most locations today. The high at Camp Mabry, 67, 5 above normal, and 67 was also the high today at the airport. We'll warm one more day, and then we get a little bit of a chill with the first of the 2 fronts coming, and we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
When someone needs blood, minutes matter, and now Williamson County paramedics are suited to give those life-saving transfusions out in the field.
And KXAN's Mercedes Hernandez spoke with medics who say they've already used this new skill set to save lives.
Williamson County paramedic Davis Winget laid back, tied in, and donated blood for the first time Wednesday morning.
Relax. I'm gonna take a nap.
He says experience on the job has taught him how important blood transfusions can be.
It was somebody that was very critically ill, bleeding out as we watched him. We were on the outskirts of the county, so we were 30 minutes from a hospital.
In December, Williamson County EMS and our local bank, We Are Blood, partnered to equip medics to give blood transfusions on scene. Winget says that's exactly what his team did.
Literally see this person come back to life in front of us, and without that blood, it absolutely would have meant that patient would have gone into cardiac arrest.
Kevin Kreinke with Williamson County EMS says medics now have special coolers designed to store blood at the right temperature until it's needed. In a sprawling county like this, he says traffic and distance can impact how quickly ambulances can get to the hospital.
So we can give them blood and start it early on, knowing that it's going to take 30 minutes to an hour to get them to the hospital.
Nick Canito with We Are Blood says a similar partnership with Austin Travis County EMS started back in 2021, with 200 transfusions taking place in the field so far.
The problems are universal, and the need for blood transfusions are universal in our communities as well.
In Williamson County, Mercedes Hernandez, KXAN News.
And We Are Blood says there is an ongoing blood shortage, but there's also been a dip in donations since the holidays. They're always in need of donations, and Canito says that that's especially true for type O donations. Going in depth right now, the city of Austin has a similar program and tells us in the first 6 months of implementing it in late 2021, 28 people were given blood out in the field, which increased their chances of survival much more than if they had to wait until they were at the hospital to receive treatment. According to a release by the city, patients who receive a transfusion within 30 minutes of a traumatic injury have a significantly higher chance of survival.
And digging deeper into this blood shortage we mentioned, according to NPR, the Red Cross is echoing concerns of an emergency level blood shortage across the country. The organization says it's seen the lowest number of donors in 20 years, with the number of people making donations dropping by 40%. And with the winter weather combined with many people fighting seasonal illness, that number could drop even more in the coming months as more people cancel their donation appointments. So what could be contributing to the shortage? Well, the Red Cross says some places that used to host blood drives have stopped doing so since the pandemic. There have also been changes in eligibility for donors as well as blood transfusion protocols at hospitals.
First warning weather with meteorologist Rich Siegel.
A beautiful day here in Central Texas, a sun-kissed sky all day long with a view from the Whittlesey Landscape Supplies camera in beautiful Granite Shoals, reporting temperatures in the 60s. All right, let's get out of Wednesday and go to Thursday's forecast. We'll start out with some scattered clouds, and they'll continue to build into the area during the afternoon outside of the hill country, and then we'll await the arrival of the front. It should enter our viewing area by 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock on Thursday morning, and then as it comes across the area, it will leave us by 3 o'clock with a minimal amount of rain. Not much of it, too. If you're lucky to get underneath one of the showers, you may pick up a quick 1 or 2 hundredths of an inch. But they're still indicating the Storm Prediction Center that there may be some severe weather in our area. It's a marginal risk from Georgetown, well, from Jarrell and Georgetown down to Austin eastward, and in some of Milam County, that risk elevates to a Category 2. It's a slight risk, but I really don't see that we're going to find any severe weather in our area at all. All right, it's the second front, as you know, because we've been talking about it for the last several days. This is going to be moving into the area on Sunday. It may come early afternoon, but right now we have it coming in at around midnight or so. And notice that we have some freezing precipitation in areas of perhaps Milam County, Williamson County northeastward that could move a little further to the south during the morning on Monday. These are 3 map models that I saw today that indicated that possibility, but most other models are not, at least for now. But I'm putting a 10% chance of something happening Monday morning just because. But we do know that the cold air will be left behind. Precipitation, if it does happen, would end rather quickly. And then it's just cold, cold, cold for Monday, for Tuesday, and for Wednesday as well. Let's talk wind chill, and I anticipate that there will be a wind chill advisory or some form of an alert by Monday. This is Monday morning at 4 a.m. We're looking at wind chills in the teens and 20s, and then they'll continue that way through the afternoon. But it's Tuesday morning, the second morning after this cold front, which will be coldest. We're looking at wind chills in single digits, and in some areas, look at Lampasas, indicating a potential wind chill of 1 below. Yes, you can have wind chills in the negative category. All right, tonight will be mostly clear. 44 the overnight low, with a southwest wind decreasing to around 5 to 10. 73 for the high tomorrow. We'll start out with the south wind at 5 to 10. It increases to 15 to 20 during the afternoon, with higher gusts. And then your 7-day forecast, again, 73 tomorrow, 56 on Friday behind the first front. We go back to the 60s on Saturday, return to the 50s on Sunday, drop to the 20s and even some upper teens on Monday morning. Only the 30s, upper 20s to low 30s Monday afternoon. On Tuesday, the coldest morning, again, we'll see most of our lows in the teens, wind chills in the single digits. We only recovered to a high of 39 Tuesday afternoon, and then we finally get a warming wind on Wednesday, but we'll start out cold at 24, climb to 52. We'll be right back.
Tonight on News Nation, newly released video from UFO journalist Jeremy Corbell captures the strange jellyfish UFO. He joins Chris live with the raw footage. Plus, the one and only Bill O'Reilly joins Chris live with a look ahead at the 2024 Iowa caucuses. Tonight on Cuomo.
Right now, the interview with Boeing CEO acknowledging mistakes that led to the near catastrophic depressurization of a 737 MAX 9 jet. Also, how one state is moving to protect music artists from AI meant to replicate their voices.
Right, we have a big developing story in college football.
Yeah, ESPN is reporting that Alabama football coach Nick Saban is retiring. So Roger joining us now to talk about this story and really also how it could affect Texas.
Yeah, there's going to be some fallout. We'll see where it all lands, but everyone's certainly surprised today at this news. Arguably the greatest coach in college football history, leading Alabama to 6 national titles, won one at LSU. 72-year-old will reportedly retire after 28 years as head coach. Of course, one of the first names that will come up when it comes to Saban's replacement will be his former assistant, Steve Sarkisian. Sark and the Longhorns beat Alabama back in September in Tuscaloosa. It's a place that means so much to Sark after Saban helped resurrect his career, but that other factor is being the guy to replace Saban and the expectations that come with that. So it will be interesting to see how all this plays out. Sark reportedly scheduled to meet with Chris Del Conte, already scheduled about a contract extension. A lot of names are already popping up, but everybody kind of trying to process this. It wasn't this, well, Willie. It was just kind of out of the blue. They make the Final Four, lose to Michigan, and then days later, it looks like that Nick Saban is finished at Alabama.
All right, Roger, I know you'll be staying on top of
this.
No
question.
Thanks so much. Well, police officers paraded on open-top buses through Paris today, all to urge accelerated talks about labor conditions and pay during the 2024 Olympics to be held in the French capital this summer. So those officers are looking for clarity about work conditions and for a bonus for all police officers during the Olympics. Starting in late July, the Olympics are set to put a pretty big burden on Paris's workforce amid heightened security threats and chronic staffing shortages at police departments, hospitals, as well as public transportation. About 30,000 police officers and soldiers will be mobilized to secure the opening ceremony on July 26th.
All right, well, coming up tonight on KXAN, it is Chicago Wednesday, and we've got Chicago Med at 7, and then Chicago Fire at 8, and wrapping it up with Chicago PD starting at 9, and then you can join us right here for KXAN News at 10.
Of course, you can join us an hour earlier for KXAN News at 9 on the CW Austin. Here's where to find us.
And real quick, a reminder that KXAN has daily podcasts you can listen to in your car. Just search KXAN wherever you get your podcasts or find them on demand at KXAN.com/podcasts.
And we do have some breaking news right now. Austin police just released this video of a shooting involving an Austin police officer and a man who appeared to be holding a rifle. An APD officer fired at the man. Police later confirmed the man was holding a BB gun. The man, who was identified as Conrad Farhad Kershowan, later died. We are looking through the rest of this video and we'll bring you more tonight at 6 o'clock.
Well, we're going to go from this 64 degrees of beautiful blue sky with a lot of sun right now to this. on Tuesday morning. Now we've updated this wind chill forecast for Tuesday morning. Single digits area-wide and a few below zero in negative territory. That's what we have to look forward to.
Okay, he says with a smile. Thank you, Rich.
No, but seriously, this is the time to start preparing for this. Don't wait until Sunday night because, you know, you want to get this done early. Make sure you have enough food, you have enough water, you have enough medicine, fresh batteries, and the flashlights. Keep your car tank, your gas tank full. You know, you don't want to get stuck in traffic with, with not enough gas. And so, you know, just take these safety precautions. You have 4 days to get this done. So let's do this and let's all be safe and get through this because we will get through it. We always have.
All right, Rich, thank you so much. Well, next at 6, next week's frigid forecast leading one apartment complex to shut off a necessity to its residents. And we do dive into the legality of such a move.
And right now on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, the head of Boeing, with a message to flyers, what he admits about Alaska Airlines emergency. Plus, days ahead of the caucuses, the candidate who is out of the race. What first-time caucus goers say about the contest.